The Silent Watchers. When Earth was just another primitive world, the observation deck of the Galactic Council's monitoring station hung in the void between star systems, its crystalline walls offering a perfect view of the spiral arm that contained. Sole Admiral Thex of the Vorthan Empire stood before the massive display screen, his forearms crossed in the traditional pose of contemplation. The screen showed a blue-green world spinning peacefully in space, completely unaware that 17 different alien civilizations had been watching its inhabitants for the past 2 centuries. Still fighting among themselves, reported Science Officer Kayla, her tentacles dancing across the holographic controls. The humans have engaged in 47 armed conflicts just this year. Their technology remains primitive by galactic standards. Admiral Thex's scaled face showed mild amusement. The Vorthans had been the dominant military force in this sector for over 3,000 years, and primitive worlds like Earth provided little more than academic interest. Any changes in their space capabilities? Minimal, Kayla responded, pulling up technical readings. They have managed to establish a few orbital stations and have sent crewed vessels to their moon. Their largest spacecraft is barely 300 meters long. At this rate, they will not achieve faster than light travel for at least another 500 years. The Admiral turned away from the display, his attention already shifting to more pressing matters. The Zephyrian Trade Coalition had been making aggressive moves in the Outer Rim, and the Crystalline Collective was demanding new mining rights in disputed territories. Earth was just another primitive world in a galaxy full of them, interesting only to xenobiologists and cultural anthropologists. But in the depths of space, far from the prying eyes of the Galactic Council's sensors, something extraordinary was taking shape. Hidden behind Earth's moon, protected by electromagnetic fields that mimicked natural solar interference, humanity was building something that would change the balance of power across the galaxy forever. Commander Elena Rodriguez floated in the zero-gravity construction bay of Station Phoenix, watching as massive metal beams were welded into place by workers in powered exoskeletons. The structure taking shape before her was unlike anything humanity had ever attempted. At nearly 2 kilometers in length, the vessel dwarfed Earth's largest space stations. Its hull was composed of materials that shouldn't have existed, forged from elements that human science claimed were impossible to synthesize in large quantities. Section 7 is complete, reported Chief Engineer Marcus Webb over the communication system. The quantum resonance chambers are online and testing within acceptable parameters. Elena smiled inside her helmet. The aliens watching Earth had no idea what humans were capable of when they truly set their minds to something. For 3 years, the greatest minds on Earth had worked in secret, combining theoretical physics with practical engineering in ways that defied conventional wisdom. The project had required unprecedented global cooperation, with resources flowing from every nation on Earth to this single hidden construction site. "How long until we can run full power tests?" Elena asked. "Another 6 weeks for the primary systems," Marcus replied. "The weapon arrays will need additional calibration, but the propulsion system is ready for initial trials." The propulsion system was perhaps humanity's greatest achievement. While the galaxy's faster-than-light technology relied on complex gravitational manipulation that required massive energy expenditure, human engineers had discovered something far more elegant. By studying quantum mechanics at the subatomic level, they had found a way to temporarily phase matter out of normal space-time, allowing instantaneous movement across vast distances with minimal energy requirements. Back on the monitoring station, Science Officer Kayla noticed an unusual energy signature coming from Earth's orbital space. She frowned, adjusting her sensors to get a clearer reading. The signature appeared to be coming from behind Earth's moon, but every time she focused the scanners on that location, the readings became garbled and unclear. "Admiral," she called out, her voice carrying a note of concern. "I'm detecting anomalous energy patterns in the Earth system." Admiral Thex returned to the observation deck, his military training making him instantly alert to potential threats. "What kind of patterns?" "Unknown," Kayla admitted, her tentacles moving rapidly as she tried to compensate for the interference. The signatures are consistent with high-energy construction activities, but the location appears to be shielded by some form of electromagnetic disruption. The admiral studied the readings carefully. In his experience, primitive civilizations didn't possess the technology to create such sophisticated shielding. Could it be natural phenomena? Possible, Kayla said, though her tone suggested she didn't believe it. Solar interference can create similar effects, but the patterns are too regular, too organized. For the first time in decades, Admiral Thex felt a small chill of uncertainty. The Vorthan Empire had risen to power, partly because of their ability to identify and neutralize threats before they became dangerous. If Earth was developing capabilities beyond their current assessment, it could represent a significant shift in regional stability. Increase surveillance on the Earth system, he ordered. I want detailed scans every 6 hours. If the humans are developing new technology, we need to know about it. Meanwhile, in a secure facility deep beneath the Swiss Alps, Ambassador Chen Wei sat in a soundproof chamber, speaking quietly into a communication device that appeared to be made of the same impossible materials being used in the orbital construction project. The person on the other end of the conversation was not human. The timeline remains unchanged, Chen said in perfect Zephyrian, one of 17 alien languages he had secretly mastered over the past 5 years. Delivery will occur as scheduled. The response came in a series of harmonic tones that would have been incomprehensible to most humans. Chen nodded, understanding perfectly. Yes, we are aware of the risks. But humanity has made its choice. We will not remain hidden any longer. The truth was that Earth had not been as isolated as the Galactic Council believed. For over a century, small groups of humans had been making contact with individual alien traders, explorers, and scientists who operated outside official channels. These contacts had provided humanity with crucial information about galactic technology, politics, and military capabilities. More importantly, they had revealed that Earth's strategic position and unique resources made it far more valuable than most alien civilizations realized. The rare Earth elements that were common on Earth were incredibly scarce throughout the galaxy. The planet's magnetic field and atmospheric composition created conditions that allowed for the natural formation of materials that other worlds could only produce artificially at enormous cost. Earth wasn't just another primitive world. It was a treasure trove that every advanced civilization would want to control once they understood its true value. But humanity had learned from watching the fate of less prepared worlds. History was full of civilizations that had been uplifted by the Galactic Council, only to find themselves as junior partners in arrangements that heavily favored their alien benefactors. Earth would not follow that path. As Admiral Thex studied the mysterious energy signatures from the Earth system, he had no way of knowing that humanity's greatest achievement was nearing completion. In 6 weeks, Earth would announce its presence to the galaxy in a way that no one could ignore. The age of human isolation was about to end, and the galaxy would never be the same. The construction of humanity's first star destroyer was not just an engineering marvel. It was a declaration of independence from a galactic order that had never given Earth a choice in its own destiny. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would discover what humans were truly capable of when they refused to remain silent any longer. The impossible construction. When human engineering defied galactic physics. 3 weeks after Admiral Thex ordered increased surveillance, the Galactic Council's monitoring station detected something that should have been impossible. The energy, readings from behind Earth's moon had intensified dramatically, and for brief moments, the electromagnetic interference cleared enough to reveal glimpses of a massive artificial structure. Science Officer Kayla worked frantically at her station, trying to process the incomplete data her sensors were gathering. "Admiral, you need to see this," she called out, her voice tight with disbelief. Admiral Thex approached the display where a 3-dimensional hologram showed the partial scan results. What he saw made his 4 hearts skip several beats. The structure appeared to be at least 1,500 meters long, constructed from materials that registered as denser than anything in the Galactic Council's database. "This cannot be accurate," the Admiral muttered, his scaled hands adjusting the display controls. "Run a full diagnostic on all sensors." "Already completed," Kayla replied. "All systems are functioning normally. Admiral, if these readings are correct, the humans have constructed something that exceeds the specifications of our own battle cruisers." The implications were staggering. According to every assessment the Galactic Council had made, Earth was centuries away from developing space construction capabilities of this magnitude. Their material science was primitive, their energy generation systems were inefficient, and their understanding of physics was limited to basic principles that most galactic civilizations had mastered thousands of years ago. Admiral Thex activated his communication system, sending an encrypted message to the Vorthan High Command. Within hours, response fleets from 7 different alien civilizations were quietly moving toward the Sol system, all under the pretense of routine patrol operations. On Earth, Ambassador Chen Wei stood in the United Nations Security Council chamber, addressing representatives from every nation on the planet. The chamber had been modified with advanced sound-dampening technology and electromagnetic shielding, gifts from humanity's secret alien contacts, ensuring that their conversation could not be monitored by orbiting surveillance systems. "The galactic powers are beginning to take notice," Chen announced, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's greatest secret. "Our construction timeline must accelerate." President Sarah Martinez of the Earth Defense Coalition leaned forward in her chair. "Are we ready for early deployment?" "The primary systems are operational," replied Dr. Hassan al-Rashid, Earth's leading expert in the new physics that made their impossible construction possible. "The quantum phase drive has passed all preliminary tests, and the defensive systems are online. However, the offensive capabilities are still being calibrated." Chen nodded gravely. "It may not matter. Our intelligence sources indicate that at least 3 major galactic powers are positioning fleets near our system. They suspect something, even if they don't yet understand what." The irony was not lost on any of them. For centuries, humanity had dreamed of making contact with alien civilizations, imagining peaceful exchanges of knowledge and culture. The reality had proven far more complex. The galaxy was not a harmonious federation of equals, but a complex hierarchy where power determined status, and newcomers were rarely welcomed as equals. Through their secret contacts, humanity had learned that most civilizations encountered one of 2 fates when they achieved interstellar capability. They either accepted junior partnership status under the guidance of established powers, or they were systematically contained and eventually absorbed by larger empires. There was no third option, until now. High above Earth's surface, Commander Elena Rodriguez received confirmation that the final phase of construction was beginning ahead of schedule. The massive vessel that humanity had built in secret was about to become operational, whether they were fully ready or not. "Activate the primary power core," Elena commanded, her voice steady despite the magnitude of the moment. The response was immediate and awe-inspiring. Along the entire 2-kilometer length of the Star Destroyer, millions of lights began to activate in sequence. The quantum reactors that powered the vessel were based on principles that human scientists had discovered through careful study of alien technology, but improved upon in ways that their original creators had never imagined. Where alien reactors required massive amounts of exotic matter to achieve stable quantum states, human engineers had found a way to use Earth's unique magnetic field as a natural stabilizer. The result was a power generation system that was not only more efficient than anything in the galactic database, but also completely undetectable by conventional sensors. Chief Engineer Marcus Webb monitored the power-up sequence from the vessel's main engineering deck. Every system was responding perfectly, validating years of theoretical work and practical testing. "All systems nominal," he reported. "We're generating enough power to supply the entire North American electrical grid, but power generation was only part of humanity's achievement. The materials used in the Star Destroyer's construction represented perhaps an even greater breakthrough. While galactic civilizations relied on complex manufacturing processes to create high-strength materials, human scientists had discovered that Earth's unique geological conditions naturally produced substances that were superior to anything that could be artificially manufactured. The hull of the Star Destroyer was composed primarily of a metallic composite that formed naturally in certain deep ocean volcanic vents. When processed using techniques developed specifically for Earth's gravitational and magnetic environment, this material became stronger than the advanced alloys used in Vorthon battleships, while being far lighter and more flexible. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the material scientist who had led the development of humanity's construction techniques, watched as the final hull sections were sealed into place. "The structural integrity tests are complete," she announced. "The hull can withstand pressures equivalent to atmospheric entry at 15 times the speed of sound." Such specifications would have been impressive for a small fighter craft. For a vessel measuring 2 kilometers in length, they were beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Thex stood on the bridge of his flagship as it approached the edge of the Sol system, part of a routine patrol that now included vessels from the Zephyrian Trade Coalition, the Crystalline Collective, and 4 other major powers. Each fleet maintained the fiction that they were conducting normal operations, but everyone understood that they were there to investigate the mysterious energy signatures coming from Earth. "Sir," reported his communications officer, "we're receiving a transmission from the planet's surface." Admiral Thex frowned. Direct communication from Earth was highly irregular. Primitive civilizations typically required several days to even notice the presence of galactic vessels in their system. "Put it through." The face that appeared on the main screen was unmistakably human. A woman with graying hair and intelligent eyes that seemed to look directly at the Admiral, despite the vast distance between them. She wore what appeared to be a military uniform, though of no design in the Galactic database. "Greetings," the human said in perfect Galactic standard, the universal language used for diplomatic communications throughout known space. "I am Captain Sarah Mitchell of the Earth Defense Force. We have been monitoring your approach to our system." Admiral Thex felt his 4 hearts skip again. Primitive civilizations didn't speak Galactic standard, and they certainly didn't have the sensor capability to detect cloaked military vessels at the edge of their solar system. "This is Admiral Thex of the Vorthon Empire," he replied carefully. "We are conducting routine patrol operations in this sector." Captain Mitchell smiled, and there was something in that expression that made the Admiral deeply uncomfortable. "Of course you are, Admiral. Just as the Zephyrian vessels to your port and the crystalline formation to your starboard are also conducting routine operations." The fact that she could identify specific alien fleets that were maintaining full stealth protocols was troubling enough. The fact that she seemed completely unintimidated by the presence of 7 different military forces was genuinely alarming. "We would welcome the opportunity to meet with representatives of the Galactic Council," Captain Mitchell continued. "Perhaps it's time our civilizations had a more formal introduction." Admiral Thex found himself at a loss for words. In his centuries of military service, he had never encountered a primitive civilization that addressed galactic powers as equals. The human's tone suggested not only confidence, but actual authority, as if Earth somehow possessed the power to enforce its will in any negotiations. "I will relay your message to the appropriate authorities," the Admiral finally managed. "Thank you," Captain Mitchell replied. "We'll be expecting their response. And Admiral, the next time you wish to observe our world, we'd appreciate advance notice. Our automated defense systems might misinterpret unannounced visits as hostile intent." The transmission ended, leaving Admiral Thex staring at a blank screen and wondering how humanity had managed to completely upend every assumption the galaxy had made about their capabilities. Automated defense systems implied military technology far beyond what Earth should possess. More troubling still was the humans' casual reference to expecting formal diplomatic contact, as if they had been preparing for this moment for years. Back on Earth, Captain Mitchell turned away from the communication console and walked to the observation window of the orbital command station. In the distance, nearly hidden in the shadow of the moon, the lights of humanity's first star destroyer gleamed like a constellation against the darkness of space. The galaxy was about to discover that Earth had been far from idle during the centuries of observation. Humanity's greatest achievement was nearly ready for its first test, and the balance of power across known space was about to shift in ways that no one could have predicted. The age of human isolation was ending, and the galaxy would never underestimate Earth again.